Hyderabad lo Isha Foundation వ్యవస్థాపకులు Jaggi Vasudev మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారం ద్వారా చూద్దాం.
Don't see this in any other state in the country. Cold storages which are all along the highway. I must have seen at least 12, 13 when I was driving from Vijayawada to here. Minimum, on the highway, I don't know how many more are there. This is the infrastructure the farmer needs because 60% of the fruit crop goes waste in India. 30% of the grain goes waste in India. If you just save the 30%, farmers' income will go up by 30%. So the debt trap that we are creating for the farmer is mainly because there is no common infrastructure of any kind. Everything he has to build himself, for he can never get the returns out of it. So these plantations and these lakes and ponds that they are creating, believe me, in the next 5 years, you will find significant impact in the groundwater levels. If the groundwater levels go up, the aquifers will be full of water, it will also come into the rivers. You may find 2 to 3% increase in the river water in a matter of 5 years in these two states alone, simply because of the ponds and lakes that are being developed, which is the way that in the past, at least in the Mysore region, the Maharaja had built maximum number of ponds and lakes. Mysore districts had the maximum number of small water bodies per square kilometer anywhere in the world at one time. But about 50 years ago, there were nearly 1,000 lakes and 3 rivers inside Bangalore city. Today there are only 81 lakes, 40 of them are frothing with chemical waste. And river, nobody has heard of a river in Bangalore city. It's just gone. Not a trace of it, we've built on it and it's over. So this is happening in a very rampant way, but it is very, very heartening to see. Maybe it is post-rain, it's looking so green, but in the same condition I drove through Tamil Nadu, even Kerala. Kerala is called God's own country simply because of its greenery and water bodies. I'm not exaggerating this. In my eyes, right from the time I left Tamil Nadu, the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana is looking equally green, which is really wonderful, maybe because it's just after the rain, but still it is nice to see that it's at least green and there are water bodies and the crops full in the fields, which is what we want to see because India is 65% of the population is in agriculture. If you want to improve the economy of this land, you have to multiply the farmer's income. That is the best way to do it. If you double the farmer's income, India's economy will go through the ceiling. Above all, it will be equally distributed and proper nourishment and health and everything will happen out of this. Industry also is needed, but industry always gives wealth in a very lopsided way. Rich will become very rich, poor will become very poor. I'm not speaking again in the industry. Industry is very important, but on equal terms, agriculture and agricultural infrastructure also needs to come up. I do not know the figures in Telangana. In Andhra Pradesh, the Chief Minister was telling me this year, their agricultural growth is 27%. It is the highest in the world. Nowhere else on the planet such a thing is happening. Because I have seen the pain and suffering the farming community goes through, this is fantastic. If you can take the microphone.
This movement is for protecting the rivers, but how about protecting and conserving our existing water bodies? You are telling that in many areas, rivers were frothing with chemicals. That's the situation in both the Telugu states also. So what is your advice there?
No, not rivers are not frothing, fortunately, not yet. It's the lakes in Bangalore city. Rivers also may go that way if you allow it to go. We're not too far away from what you're predicting. We're not too far away, but fortunately not yet. See, pollution is not the most difficult thing to handle. It's lack of will which has allowed pollution to happen. We have a clear-cut policy as to how pollution can be dealt with in an enforceable way. In 3 years' time, you can make sure all the water flowing into the rivers is treated and not raw sewage. This can be taken care of very easily. We have an elaborate policy system which is an economic plan, essentially. You want me to articulate this? Hello? Oh. See, it's like this. The numbers that I say are not real numbers, I'm just saying. For example, let us say Hyderabad city, what's your population? 4 million. 4 million? Both together? Hyderabad, Secunderabad? 1 crore. Okay, you're a lot of people. So for 1 crore people, minimum 10 crore, not 10 crore, 100 crore liters of sewage you will be letting out. These 100 crore liters of sewage may be going out in 1,000 outlets to various kinds of, sometimes water bodies, sometimes just into the land, all kinds of places. Maybe partly it is treated, I do not know, I'm just saying. But now what we need to do is just this. These 1,000 outlets, the administration has to take responsibility to make these 1,000 outlets into 25 outlets or maybe 50 outlets. Now if you give out a global tender, there are enough Indian companies which can do it, but if you don't trust the government, give out a global tender where people will come up and set up these 50 treatment plants. All you have to do is give them sewage. They will treat it and let it out. Where will the money come from? Investment will come from them, but it has to be profitable. Now in your house, let us say every day 100 liters of water is coming in, it's metered. Water is metered, so we know how much water is entering your house. If your house is getting 100 liters of water, we can easily assume 60 to 70 liters is sewage from your house. So we will charge you for 60 liters of sewage also. Now this money can be collected and given to that company which runs this. Only thing is set the standard, what should be the quality of water which goes into the river, or you allow that company to sell the water to the farmers. Now 100 crore liters of water, do you know how much irrigation it can do if micro-irrigation is done? They can also get into irrigation projects. They can irrigate thousands of acres of farmland, and if it is going to the farm, they can calibrate the treatment in such a way that all the nutrients, see what is filth for you and me is nutrient for the plant. All the nutrients need not be taken away, just the smell can be taken away, and some part of it can be left and pumped to the farms. If it's going to the industry, they have to purify it further. Accordingly, they will charge for that. I'm saying a proper commercial arrangement can be done so that the company benefits, people benefit, city is clean, farmers benefit, everybody benefits, and the headache is off the corporations. Because this part of it must be done by private agencies. Corporations can take care of the sewage system, but where it is delivered, if they converge the delivery system from many outlets to a few outlets, easily this can be done. In the policy, this is an important part of the policy. If we bring this policy as a mandatory policy, not by choice, it's not a choice whether a city can treat their water or not treat their water. Every city must treat the water, every citizen who uses the sewage system must pay for it, that's all. Like electricity and water, you also pay for this, and this will happen. This will just take 2 to 3 years to implement.